So let us go back to the staffing, what it is. It's a critical function concerned with the acquisition and deployment of the organization workforce. And we have seen it comprises of recruitment, selection, promotion, transfers, training and development. It looks at from the three perspectives: strategy and planning, the human resource, and the individual manager. Nature of staffing. It's a mutual process by which the individual and the organization becomes matched to form the employment relationship. So both organization as well as the prospective employees or job seekers have their goals. In the process of achieving these personal goals from employees' point of view and the corporate goals from the organization point of view, goals should be achieved through mutual relationship. That is called employment relationship. Here, organization hires, selects people, entrusts them with some responsibilities. Utilizing their services, organization would achieve its corporate goals. In return, the employees have their personal goals, lending their services to the organization. They benefit by way of salary, wage, such other financial benefits. So here, this is a mutual process between organization and the employees. The individuals and the organization become matched to form the employment relationship. The implications of definition, organization and individual perspective. So here, in this case, staffing is a mutual process, as we have seen in the previous slide, which involves organization seeking individual as well as individual seeking organization to fulfill the needs of both the parties, organization as well as individuals. So the organization perspective, it emphasizes staffing as activities undertaken to further the attainment of organizational goal, such as survival, profitability, and growth. So here it is from the organizational perspective. It emphasizes staffing in the sense that here it hires people, selects them, and fill that positions in the organization, entrusts them with some responsibilities, duties and responsibilities, so that it achieves its targets, that is survival, profitability and growth. Whereas in the individual perspective, this stresses the fact that individuals seek jobs that they will find rewarding. And these individuals are affected by their experiences in the staffing process. So people join the organization to achieve their goals, personal goals, to fulfill their needs. They need some income. For that reason, they join the organizations. So in that process, they are affected by the experiences in the staffing process. So this is organization and individual perspective. So staffing as a process or as a system. Staffing is a process or system composed of a series of interrelated activities, such as recruitment, selection, decision making, and job offers. So majorly, this recruitment, selection are the main aspects of the staffing. Recruitment is hiring. We have seen what is hiring. Is someone is the culmination of the staffing process. Hiring someone is the culmination of the staffing process. The first step in the staffing process is hiring, where individuals are hired in this process. They find the sources of manpower, they advertise, they motivate and encourage people to apply for jobs. That is hiring or recruitment. Staffing is a process that establishes and governs the flow of applications into the organization and within the organization. So you should identify where this manpower is available. You should advertise them. You should attract them, encourage them to apply for jobs in the organization. That is what is a staffing. It's a process that establishes and governs the flow of applications into the organization and within the organization. So this hiring is from within the organization or from external sources. So there are many steps through which applications flow from the time they first enter the system to the time they become new hires. So these steps are, first one, it begins with the organization's decision to fill a vacancy. Because of so many reasons, vacancies arise within the organization due to transfer, promotion, to retirement, due to voluntary retirements, due to turnover of the employees. So because of all these reasons, vacancies will arise within the organization. So here staffing begins with the organization's decision to fill a vacancy. Secondly, recruitment activities. Then they search for the sources of this manpower, the institutions or any consultants within the organization. This recruitment activities takes place. So here recruitment is, once the decision is taken to fill the vacancies in the organization, they find the sources of this manpower and they advertise about the jobs and encourages the people to apply for jobs. That is recruitment activity. Then selection. After receiving the applications from different individuals, they screen on different basis. Selection process takes place, selection activities. And evaluating and decision making. So here once the people are individuals are selected, then they evaluate whether the selected candidates are capable enough to carry the business operations. Then acceptance of the job applicant. So here we evaluate, selection process starts, screen on different basis. We evaluate the individual's knowledge levels and decide whether to take or not, and the selected candidates are accepted. Acceptance of jobs applicant. So this is the process, recruitment and selection. These are the steps through which applicants flow from the time they first enter the system to the time they become new hires. So they enter this system, the staffing system, by applying to the job. And once they are accepted, then they become new hires. Forming the employment relationship. So an emphasis on forming or entering into the employment relationship includes certain staffing decisions and excludes others. So both the organization and the individual must act positively to create a person or job match. Your organization should accept the individuals, and individuals also should accept the job, so that a person will definitely matches the job. Person job match. So we have seen in the beginning itself that right people should be hired, right number at the right time. So right person in the right number in the right job. So this is what forming the employment relationship. The importance of this staffing system. The role of staffing is to anticipate and then fulfill the organization's workforce needs in ways that contribute to the organization's mission and objectives. So first you should forecast. In the manpower planning, you should forecast demand forecast, HR demand forecast, and HR supply forecast. So what would be the demand for manpower? What is the supply situation? So we should analyze all these things, forecast this, whether enough number of employees are available, employees with potentials are available, whether the system, that's labor market, supplies that sufficient number and with expected knowledge. All these are anticipating and then fulfill the organization's workforce needs. So we estimate in the beginning itself that we plan for manpower workforce, keeping in mind the future commitments of the organization, considering the expansion of the business or diversification of the business. So we estimate the workforce needs for an organization and anticipate, forecast that HR demand and supply for human resources, so that this can contribute to the organization's mission and objectives. So it will be responsible for the design and management of staffing systems, for the involvement of managers at critical points in these systems, and for ensuring compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. Design and management of staffing systems. So here it is very important, you need to have an optimum structure for this staffing. Whom to take, how many to take, from which source to take. Right? So what is the requirement? What are the staffing needs of an organization? So for all these reasons, you should have a structure, a system which is designed, and you should manage this design very effectively. So for the involvement of managers at critical points in these systems, your managers play a very crucial role in these things at different points, at functional levels. Managers would be there. They know better what kind of manpower they require, how many they require, at what point of time they require. So the involvement of managers at critical points in these systems, and for ensuring compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. So here laws and regulations, there is a legal provisions that organization should appoint disabled, physically challenged persons, individuals, and may follow the roster system. An opportunity should be given as per law to the people from weaker sections like that. That is what the applicable laws and regulations. Now we can have a look at these survey results regarding staffing and other HR activities. Budget percent of time. So staffing budget percent of budget 19%, percent of time 15. So design administration of employee benefit programs 1510. Employee labor relations 1318. Training 11.9. Design administration of employee compensation programs 9%, 10%. Health safety security 8 to 6. Design administration of programs in response to government regulations 6 to 7. Performance appraisal 5-7. Strategic planning 4-7. Conducting other activities 10-11. These are the survey results regarding staffing and other activities. Now you see, compared to all other activities, staffing is 19% budget. And here also, time we spend for that 15% of the time, of the total time. So all these are HR activities. Out of HR activities, staffing is so important because we spend more time and we also spend more on this staffing. 19% and 15% of time, total time. Some of the models of staffing. Person job match. So person job match in the sense whether the person selected for a particular job matches to that or not. Can he effectively manage his job, perform his job, discharge his duties so effectively and efficiently? That is matching of a person and job. So this match seeks to align characteristics of individuals and jobs in ways that will result in desired HR outcomes. What job requires, what levels of knowledge that job expects from an incumbent employee. So this can be known through job analysis. We analyze the job, we describe the job, what exactly it involves, whether it is skilled or any technical issues involved, and whether the incumbent employee should have possess all this technical knowledge, analytical knowledge, statistical knowledge. So like that, what type of knowledge the individual should possess to carry this job, to do this, perform this job. So this seeks to align characteristics of individuals and jobs in ways that will result in desired HR outcomes. So comments such as this raise 4 important points about the person or job match. First one is jobs are characterized by their requirements and embedded rewards. So characterized by their requirements in the sense what educational qualification that an incumbent employee should possess, what levels of knowledge that job requires from an incumbent employee. So these are the job characteristics. Jobs are characterized by their requirements and embedded rewards. So to do that particular job, what is the reward? So here we consider that such kind of critical issues, traits, what we can say, traits to compensate. If an employee possesses this knowledge, he can perform this job. So that knowledge, what is that knowledge cost? Second, individuals are characterized by their level of qualifications. So to become a manager, he must be an MBA graduate. All cannot be taken for managerial position. You should possess that knowledge in that particular area. So thirdly, degree of fit or match between the characteristics of the job and the person. So degree of fit or match between the characteristics of the job and the person. So we have both characteristics of job, characteristics of person. Characteristics of person means his knowledge levels, his belief, his understanding abilities, his perception, everything comes into picture. Same way, what job requires to complete it. So whether to what extent these both are matching, whether the person to that job. When we can say that the right person in the right job, there is match between degree of fit between job and person, matching between the characteristics of the job and the person. And fourth, there are implied consequences for every match. So implied consequence in the sense that definitely consequences would be there when a person joins a job. He does something implied. Person job match. You can see job requirements rewards, person KSAOs motivations. So this is match between job and person. Match between requirements rewards and this motivation, whether the person is motivated to carry that activity or not. So impact would be HR outcomes, attraction, performance, retention, attendance, satisfaction, and others. This is a person job match model. So several points pertaining to staffing need to be made about the person job matching model. One is the concept shown in the model are not new. The model emphasizing that the matching process involves a dual match of KSAOs to requirements and motivations to rewards. So job requirement should usually be expressed in terms of both the tasks involved in the and the KSOs thought necessary for performance and of those tasks. Task involved and the individuals that person sitting in that job qualities, his knowledge, his belief, his analytical abilities, his perception, right? the his cooperation, coordination, his motivation, everything put together, all these KSAOs. So job requirement often extended beyond task and KSAO requirements. Finally, the matching process can yield only so much by way of impacts on the HR outcomes. Person job match we have seen. Now person organization match. So often the organization seeks to determine not only on how well the person fits or match the job, but also the organization. It's not enough that a person matches to the job. He also should match with the organization. See person job match. You see in that job person. See new job duties, organization values, multiple jobs, future jobs. Impact would be so HR outcomes, attraction, performance, retention, attendance, satisfaction, and others. The organizational values. These are norms of desirable attitudes and behaviors for the organization's employee. So, organization values are norms of desirable attitudes and behaviors. So, what organization expects from its employees? So, expectation is desirable attitudes and behaviors. The new job duties represents the tasks that may be added to the target job over time. So new job duties are the tasks that may be added to the target job over time. Additional new job duties. So flexibility concerns also enter into the staffing picture in terms of hiring persons who could perform multiple jobs. So flexibility in the sense an employee should be versatile. He can be rotated on several jobs. So future jobs represent forward thinking by the organization and person as to what job assignments the person might assume beyond the initial job. These are future jobs. So it is a forward thinking by the organization and the person as to what job assignments the person might assume beyond the initial job. So components of staffing system, as noted, staffing encompasses managing the flows of people into and within the organization. These components are applicant, this person, organization, that is job. Person, job, applicant, and organization. So recruitment, identification, and attraction, we have seen what happens exactly in recruitment stage. So they identify the sources of manpower and advertise, motivate, and encourage and attract the employees so that they apply for the jobs. That's recruitment. Selection, screening will be taken place here. Assessment and evaluation. After going through all the applications, they screen out and call the employees for interviews for selection. So they evaluate the abilities of the employees at this stage. Then employment, decision making, and final match. So they decide based on the evaluation results, assessment results of the individual, and decide whether to take or not. So here we see whether that person matches to this job or not. So staffing begins with a joint interaction between the applicant and the organization. The initial stage in staffing is recruitment, and gradually recruitment activities phase into the selection stage and its accompanying activities, and lastly the final component of staffing is employment. So initial component is recruitment, and final component of this one staffing is employment. So for the applicant, the employment stage involves self-selection. So it should be noted that the staffing components apply to both external and internal staffing. In internal staffing, the applicant is a current employee, and the organization is the current employer. So staffing can be done through internal sources as well as external sources. So human resource management, your person job match HR activities. So it shows that all HR activities are directed towards creating and maintaining effective person job matches as a way of having a positive impact on HR outcomes. If these two matches perfectly, person and job, person and organization matches perfectly, you can expect the positive, HR outcomes. So HR activities, each HR activity is classified as a support or functional activity. HR activity or HR practices, we say that it starts from staffing, that is recruitment. So support activities include strategy and planning, job analysis and measurement. So to analyze what kind of people, manpower you require, first you should plan and analyze the jobs and measure the job. So functional activities includes external staffing, internal staffing, training and development, compensation, labor relations, and work environment. These are all functional activities. External staffing, internal staffing, through internal sources or external sources. Then training and development, updating the knowledge of the employees, that's managing people, compensating them, and maintaining relations with the employees and taking care of the work environment. This is human resource management model, economic conditions, labor markets, labor unions, laws and regulations. The external influences, considering external influences, all these are HR activities. These are support activities and functional activities. Support activities are strategy and planning, job analysis and measurement. Functional activities are external staffing, internal staffing. So functional activities of HR. So it should hire the people, that is staffing, internal sources, external sources, and enhance the knowledge of the employees, that's through training and development, compensating them, labor relations, work environment. Their job requirements rewarded, person, KSAOs, motivation. Outcome is, HR outcome is this attraction, performance, retention, attendance, satisfaction, others. Interrelationship among activities. So while administered separately, the functional HR activities are highly interrelated and hence must work in a concert with each other. So all HR activities, whether it is recruitment, selection, training and development, compensation, employee relations, all these are interpersonal relationship among all these are the HR activities. There must be a good relationship among all these activities. So these are highly HR activities are highly interrelated. Functional HR activities are highly interrelated. Therefore, they must work in a concert with each other. So external influences are economic conditions, labor markets, labor unions, and laws and regulations. So the economic condition influence the overall financial health of an organization. These are all dips in some countries. Labor manpower availability is very less. This labor market supply of labor is very less. There will be great demand for labor in some markets. Unions also intervene in the matters to protect the interests of the employees and legal provisions to comply with. So labor markets represents the external areas in which the organizations seek new employees and individuals offer their availability.